Good day and thank you for joining us on Beetv News Update at 3. I am Lee Breitsman Johanna. Now the news in details. A classroom building at the Odokerere High School in Ikorodu, Lagos State collapsed on pupils while they were in class on Thursday, sparking concerns over the safety of public school infrastructure in the state. The school, owned by the Lagos State government, reportedly caved in during class hours. No casualties were recorded as pupils were said to have escaped before sustaining serious injuries. A video of the incident, which has since gone viral on the social media platform X, was shared by user Omo Rijari. In the footage, a narrator described the scene and expressed concern over what could have happened if the pupils had not acted swiftly. The incident has triggered reactions online, with many Nigerians calling on the Lagos State government to urgently inspect public school buildings and ensure the safety of pupils and teachers. As of the time of filing this report, officials of the Lagos State Ministry of Education and emergency agencies had yet to release an official statement on the cause of the collapse or whether it affected classrooms that will be closed pending investigation. A lawyer representing the second defendant, Henry Omoile, in the ongoing trial of the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, has alleged the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, put pressure on his client while in detention in 2024 in a bid to implicate the former Apex Bank chief. However, during cross-examination by the lead prosecutor, Rotimi Oyedepo San, the witness admitted that he never lodged a complaint or filed a petition against the EFCC over the alleged conduct of its investigative team. The lawyer, Mr. Ofia, gave his testimony at the Lagos State Special Offences Court sitting in Ikeja during a trial within trial ordered by Justice Raman Oshodi, following claims by the second defendant that statements he made while in EFCC custody were obtained under duress. Mr. Ofia further admitted that the defendant was duly cautioned in his presence and that his client was never harassed while he was there. He also stated that the judge who later handled his client's fundamental rights enforcement suit did not find the EFCC guilty of any misconduct. Hearing in the matter continues on Friday. The federal government has inaugurated a steering committee and a policy drifting team to drive the development of Nigeria's national research to commercialization of policy. The initiative is aimed at translating research outcomes into market-ready products, boosting innovation and unlocking economic value for public-funded research. The report.
The inauguration marks a significant step by the federal government to reposition research as a catalyst for economic growth, job creation, and national development. Officials at the event acknowledged that despite substantial investment in research across universities and research institutes, many innovations have remained confined to academic journals with little impact on industry or society. Speaking at the ceremony, the Minister of Education, Professor Dr. Tunji Alausa, noted that the new policy is aimed at bridging the long-standing gap between research and real-world application.
And research is how that the research and innovation benefits humanity, and it only benefits humanities if their product or clinical impact, educational impact, or consumable impact.
Under the initiative, the steering committee will provide overall strategic direction, while a 13-member policy drafting committee is tasked with developing a clear framework for translating research outputs into commercial products, services, startups, and industrial solutions.
The committee will develop, review, and finalize the national research R2C policy, incorporating stakeholder inputs and best practices. Define, number 2, the second term of reference, define institutional, legal, and governance arrangement.
Policy will also define the roles of key stakeholders, including government agencies, academic institutions, industry players, and financiers, The president of the Research and Innovation Commercialization Council described the policy as a game changer for Nigeria's innovation ecosystem.
We will not be telling stories. We know that we have set for ourselves the odious, clearly a very difficult task within the time frame. But we will get it done because Nigeria needs it yesterday.
The National Research to Commercialization Policy is expected to create structured pathways for innovation, enabling Nigeria to convert ideas into economic value, scale homegrown solutions, and enhance its competitiveness in the global knowledge economy. Temitope Oluwafemi reporting for Beetv News.
Nigeria's former Vice President Atiku Abubakar's son, Abubakar Atiku Abubakar, has formally defected to the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC), pledging to work for the re-election of President Tinubu in 2027. Abubakar Atiku Abubakar was received on Thursday at the National Assembly by the Deputy Senate President, Senator Barra Jibrin, alongside key APC leaders from the Northeast geopolitical zone. Speaking at the event, Abubakar Atiku Abubakar announced his resignation from the People's Democratic Party (PDP), declaring his full alignment with the APC and describing the moment as both historic and personal. He also directed all coordinators and members of the political organization that founded in 2022, formerly known as the ASIUC organization, to immediately align with the APC and support President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Meanwhile, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar's camp responded swiftly to the developments, calling it troubling. In a tweet, Atiku stated, "The decision of my son Abubakar to join the APC is entirely personal. In a democracy, such choices are neither unusual nor alarming, even when family and political intersect. As a Democrat, I do not coerce my own children in matters of conscience, and I certainly will not coerce Nigerians. I remain resolute in working with like-minded patriots to restore good governance and offer Nigerians a credible alternative that brings relief, hope, and progress." The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Adeyemo, has indicated the interest rate cuts may be on the horizon if inflation continues to ease. Such a move could reduce debt servicing costs and relieve pressure on Nigeria's strained public finances. The minister made the remarks on the sidelines of Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, highlighting the importance of lower borrowing costs at a time when Nigeria's budget is heavily burdened by debt servicing, volatile revenues, and a widening fiscal deficit. Mr. Adeyemo commended the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, for what he described as excellent progress in curbing inflation, attributing recent improvements to aggressive monetary tightening measures implemented over the past 2 years. He added that a sustained decline in inflation will create room for further rate cuts, helping to reduce borrowing costs and ease the government's debt servicing burden. Kano State government has disbursed empowerment packages to 2,260 graduates of 8 entrepreneurship skill institutes across the state. In a move aimed at boosting youth employment and job creation, the distribution took place at a ceremony held at the open arena of the Government House in Kano. Governor Abba Kabiru Yusuf emphasized that each graduate would not leave just with a certificate, but with practical tools and, in some cases, seed capital to kickstart livelihoods in their chosen fields. He recalled that the institutes were originally established under the administration of Senators Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso to equip youth with income-generating skills, but were later closed by a previous administration. Governor Yusuf said the revival of the institutes, coupled with the provision of the empowerment tools and support, will help reduce unemployment, curb youth restiveness, and promote self-reliance across the state.
And the flag off of the distribution of empowerment packages for 2,260 260 young beneficiaries of various skills acquisition institutes. As we are celebrating the beginning of a new journey for these young men and women, they are being trained to become self-reliant, productive, and economically resilient.
And on the global scene, residents of villages across China Hebei's province are enduring a harsh winter with limited heating as rising natural gas prices and reduced government subsidies makes it increasingly difficult for households to keep their homes warm. The report.
Hebei, located in northern China, experiences some of the country's coldest winter temperatures. In recent years, many rural communities were encouraged to switch from coal to natural gas as part of China's environmental drive to reduce air pollution. While the transition initially came with government support to offset costs, villagers now say their subsidies have been cut back significantly. As a result, the price of natural gas have climbed beyond what many rural families can afford. Several residents report rationing their gas use, turning heaters on only for short period or relying on extra layer of clothing or blankets to cope with the cold. In some homes, heating is reserved for children or elderly family members, while others go without entirely. Local villagers say their income, largely dependent on small-scale farming or temporary work, have not kept pace with the rising cost of energy. For many households, paying for sufficient gas throughout the winter would consume a large portion of their monthly earnings. Some residents have expressed frustration that they were discouraged from using coal but now struggle to afford a cleaner alternative. Community officials acknowledge the pressure on residents but say local governments are constrained by tighter budgets and a higher overall energy cost. Natural gas prices have risen due to broader market factors including supply constraint and increased demand during winter months, limiting the ability of authorities to maintain previous subsidy levels. The situation have renewed debate over the pace and support mechanism of China's clean energy transition in rural areas. While environmental policies have helped reduce smog and improve air quality, critics argue that insufficient financial support risks placing an unfair burden on low-income households. As winter continues, villagers Hebei remain caught between environmental policy goals and daily survival needs, hoping for additional assistance or policy adjustment that would allow them to stay warm without falling deeper into financial hardship. Favor Kolawole reporting for B.
And on business news, Nigeria's Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, disclosed that the federal government spent 11.1 trillion naira on capital expenditure in 2024, achieving about 85% implementation. He attributed this performance to an extended budget cycle designed to ensure that priority projects were completed rather than abandoned. The report.
Despite these, economists have raised concern about real economic impact of the spending. They argue that delay in the release of funds have weakened the growth-enhancing benefits of capital expenditure, noting that only a small portion of the 2025 capital budget have been released so far. As a result, the expected stimulus to economic activities has not been fully released. Other analysts pointed to inflation and naira depreciation as a major factor eroding the value of government spending. Rising cost of construction materials, fuel price increases following subsidy removal, and general inflation have reduced the real output of capital projects, creating a gap between reported expenditure figures and visible economic outcome. The chairman of the Presidential Committee of Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, clarified that that the 2026 tax reform law is structured to protect low-income earners and small-scale investors. He explained that individuals with modest capital market transactions are automatically exempted from capital gain tax under clearly defined thresholds. Under the new framework, capital gains tax exemption apply where total proceeds from asset disposal do not exceed 150 million naira and gain remain below 10 million naira within a 12-month period. Pension fund administrators and real estate investment trusts also qualify for exemptions, provided that proceeds are reinvested in eligible assets. Oyedele noted that high net worth individuals only become liable for capital gains tax when they permanently exit in investments without reinvesting. He described Nigeria's capital gain tax regime as highly competitive globally, adding that ongoing regulatory guidelines will address implementation gaps, while any legislative amendments will be forwarded to the President for consideration. The Lagos State Internal Revenue Service has reaffirmed January 31st, 2026 as a stationary deadline for employers to file annual tax returns for the 2025 financial year. The reminder aligns with the provision of the Nigerian Tax Administration Act 2025, which governs tax compliance obligation nationwide. Employers are required to submit comprehensive details of employee emolument, compensation, and tax deduction and remitted, as well as payments made to service providers, vendors, and consultants. The law mandates that all applicable tax for the year must be fully remitted before the filing deadline. LIRS warned that failure to comply with the filing requirements will attract stationary sanctions, including administrative penalties. The agency urged employees to prioritize timeline and accurate tax filing, describing tax compliance as a core business responsibility under the new legal framework. Favor Kolawole reporting for Beetv News.
In a viral video, the singer jokingly accused Ghanaians of being responsible for Nigeria's loss, claiming the match official, whom she referred to as their brother, favored the opposing side. Expressing her frustration in an emotional but humorous manner, Tenny said the outcome of the game had affected her deeply. She went on to playfully appeal to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, asking him to send a fighter jet to Ghana, while stressing that she had not been feeling well since the defeat. In another development, Anu Adeleke, the young girl whose mother previously claimed Davido is her father, has shared an alleged chat with the singer after recently requesting a DNA test to establish her identity. It will be recalled that the young girl had taken to social media to search for her identity now that she has come of age. However, Davido has denied being her father, further revealing that multiple DNA tests in different locations has shown that he isn't her father. The young girl took to his DM with the request, but Davido reminded her that 5 DNA tests were done. She requested to see the results, but Davido later righted himself by stating that it was 4, promising to publish the whole results. Nigerian rapper Odumodu Black has left fans talking about making a shocking tweet during Nigeria's AFCON match against Morocco, which the Super Eagles lost. The rapper, famous for his playful banter online, used the tense moments of the game to make a declaration that quickly went viral. Odumodu Black comments came amid the tension on the pitch as he claimed the Ghanaian referee was biased and working in favor of the Morocco players. The statement further fueled the ongoing friendly rivalry between Nigerians and Ghanaians in both music and football. Whether joking or serious, his tweet has become part of the Nigeria vs Morocco conversation, with fans debating the game and the rapper's bold stance. And that is on the entertainment news. Evelyn Isabella reporting for Beetv News.
And that's it in our news update. Thank you for joining us. Do stay tuned for more updates in our major news at 6. I am Libra Johanna. Bye for now.